What drew you to your major?
I'm one of the strange people in that I started studying French when I was in 7th grade, and I fell in love with it. And I don't know why. There's no French history in my background, in my family. I had a teacher who was really inspiring, and from the time I was 13, I knew I wanted to study French, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And it wasn't until I was in graduate school pursuing a PhD that I got into the classroom and then realized, wow, I really like to teach. So it came across slowly, the teaching part, but the French has just always been a love for me.
And what drew you to Missouri Western?
I think originally it was the fact that the department that I'm in was interdisciplinary because we have English and foreign languages and journalism. And there was also an opportunity to develop the French major, which was something that was important to me at the time. And also to be able to take students abroad was something that I'd always wanted to do, and there was a program in place here.
And what makes the Missouri Western Foreign Language Department maybe different from others that you've had experience with?
Well, I think we have a number of strengths. Most of us have formal teacher training, which is not always the case for college professors. And many of us have taught in secondary schools, and so we're very aware of the current trends in teaching the best methods for foreign language acquisition. But we also have faculty that are really dedicated to the students, that spend a lot of time with students individually, outside of class. My colleagues like to have events that take the language outside of the classroom, and so it's not unusual for faculty members to be in restaurants or go to films with students and try and find ways to have fun with the language. So it's not just something that happens in the classroom. And then I think the other thing that makes our department unique is that most of our language majors have some sort of language immersion experience where they're studying the language in a country where they speak that language.
You talked about the language immersion. What kind of specific programs are there for students that want to do that?
There are lots of opportunities. We have probably what we're best known for are summer programs. We have 3-week programs where students travel to a foreign country, usually with someone in our department, and they are placed in host families, usually where no English is spoken, and they attend classes during the day, and then there are cultural outings and things like that. But it's immersion because they really need to use that language 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get their needs met. And it's usually a bit of a shock for the students in the first few days to realize, well, wow, people really don't speak English here, and I need to draw on what I've learned. So that's our most popular thing. And we've had programs. We have a long-standing program in Mexico. We've also had programs in Spain. This summer, there were a group of students that went to Argentina. And then we also have a program in France. And we have had study in Germany in the past as well. So those are our short-term programs. But then we also have exchange programs where students can go for a longer period of time, either a semester or a full year. And in that case, they study at a university, and they're taking classes with other university students in that language. And there are fewer students that do that because the level of language skill needed is higher. But those are the kinds of things that we encourage our majors to do because they come back with real strong fluency in the language and a better understanding of that language and its culture. It's hard to describe for students what it's going to be like and how it's going to affect them. But every student that I've ever known that has done something like that has said, it changed my life.
What would you say to a student who's maybe considering foreign language as their major?
I think that when you study a foreign language and a culture, you develop a variety of skills that make you really valuable in the professional world. Problem solving, communicating with people who are different from you, learning to look at the world from a more global perspective instead of from our corner here in Missouri or in the United States. And Also, if you master a foreign language, you're doing something that not many people have done. How many people do you know that speak a foreign language?
Not very many.
Exactly. And so when you're out there in the marketplace, you're showing that you've done something that is challenging. And that is evidence to a potential employer that you have a lot of self-discipline, that you have the ability to thrive in a challenging situation, and you have skills that not many other people have. So it makes you really competitive in the job place, no matter what you're trying to do. And I always tell students that if you're going to study a foreign language, you're essentially doubling your opportunities in the workplace, because not only can you function in English, but you can do those same things in French or in Spanish or in German.
What kind of careers do people with those kind of majors go into?
Just about anything that you would do if you majored in another field. I mean, if you are going to study, let's take accounting as an example. If you're going to study accounting and French, you could work for an international accounting agency. There are a number of companies in Kansas City who have international ties and need employees who can speak another language. They're not necessarily going to put the language at the top of the list of skills, but when they come across an applicant who has that language skill in addition to the other qualities they're looking for, they rise to the top. You know, that's going to be their number one choice. So, but more generally speaking, students that have a degree in foreign language can go to work for a government agency. I have students that have been interested in working for the FBI or the CIA, where language ability is needed. There are students that go into public relations, because believe it or not, PR companies in the United States also work with companies around the world, products in Canada, for example, where the primary language is French. So you just never know how it's going to come into play. But in every industry that we have in this country, if you combine your abilities in that particular industry with a language, your opportunities are endless, really.
Because of our global economy, foreign language is a real asset to students, and we really try to encourage our majors in the English side of the department to consider a foreign language minor, French or German or Spanish, as a way to make them more competitive in a market that really has global implications.